You hear on social media how women are the reason the community is not in a good place. Some have even said women are bad by default. We talk about good girls and bad girls. Some have said there are no good girls. Paul gave us the hierarchy of creation. The Most High is the head of Jesus. Jesus is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. Eve was made to be Adam's woman. While Eve sinned first, the world was cursed because of Adam's sin. If Adam does not eat the forbidden fruit, the only thing that would happen is Eve would be destroyed, and the Most High would make another woman for Adam, while the world would remain intact. Are all women bad? While I agree there aren't any good girls, there aren't any bad girls either. Women are the more impressionable sex. They are shaped by the men in their life. If you don't train a dog, it will go wild. The same goes for the woman. Who they turn out to be will be based on the men they're around. When you look at electricity in the form of lightning, it can destroy things and kill people. When brought under control, it's used to power many of the things we use every day. Is electricity inherently evil? Monsoons can kill people and wipe out whole cities. Yet we use water every day. Is water inherently evil? Adam was given the mandate to subdue the earth. He was called to take hold of the earth's resources and use them to his benefit. On social media, you have the red pill community moaning, groaning, and whining about how women treat them. If a snowstorm is coming and you're homeless, you're not going to be very happy about that snowstorm. If you're someone living in a house with a good operating furnace, quality insulation, and a top of the line snowblower in your garage, you might look forward to a snowstorm. Men who have not improved themselves in the areas of manhood are going to have a rough experience with women because you simply don't have the tools to handle them properly. You'll get the side of women that makes you believe they're evil. As far as you're concerned, they are evil when dealing with you. Feminists like to accuse men of objectifying women. They're not wrong, but women objectify men all the time. Women who carry themselves like sluts will always be objectified because they objectify themselves first. There are women who men do not objectify, and these are women who carry themselves as wives and mothers, even before they're wives or mothers. There are no men who women do not objectify. Women see all men as resources to their benefit. All men are either a penis, a wallet, a thrill, or all of the above. There are things in between, such as status and provision, but those fall under being a wallet. Point being, both sexes objectify each other, so this is a non starter from the feminists. No one wants to look in the mirror. No one wants to admit they don't have what it takes. Feminism and red pill slash MGTOW come from people incapable of self reflection. They themselves can never be the problem. It has to be something or someone else. Beauty standards aren't the problem. You're just ugly and uncongenial. Hypergamy isn't the problem. You're just a broke cornball. People with options can simply get what they want and skip over what they don't. Those with no options will complain about getting what they're truly qualified for and demand the world lower the bar for them. A woman is a result of the men in her life. If she grew up around weak males, she'll grow up to be what's called a bad girl. If she grew up around strong and leading men, she will become what people call a good girl. Some will argue this type of thinking takes agency away from women. It doesn't take away their agency. It recognizes they never had any. A chainsaw and a motor vehicle don't have agency. What they do depends on the user. Does this mean if a woman murders another human being, we shouldn't put them in prison? Of course not. Does this mean if a woman treats men poorly, she should not be seen as a woman not worth dealing with? No one is saying that. What it means is her behavior is shaped by something outside of herself, more specifically, the men in her life. The woman was made to be our assistant. She doesn't have a purpose apart from us. What a woman does apart from a man is redundant and unnecessary. Some will come up with examples of women building, producing, and creating. Even if this were true, why do we need this? Men don't need women to help them build, produce, and create. Men built civilization without women's help. The only thing a man needs a woman for is sex and procreation. Beyond those two functions, women are unnecessary. There is no vice versa. Women need men for practically everything, including sex and procreation. Proof? Go outside and look around at all the things you see which are not from nature, and know it was men who built it. Paul said a woman is redeemed through childbearing. Some Hebrew Israelites claim this means a woman can't be saved unless she marries and has children. I apologize to any of our sisters who were taught that garbage. This is Paul recognizing what a woman brings to the table. Mankind, coming through the womb of a woman, is her greatest contribution to society and to civilization. Feminism is complete nonsense, but it is the result of men being weak. Feminism is an irony because feminists actually hate women. They don't want to be respected women. They want to be men. They are jealous of the men and want to replace them. They desire the power men have, but they can't have it and don't have the means to get it. It requires them to do something they collectively can't do, which is build civilization. Feminism should have been shut down at first thought, but men in their weakness allowed this social disease to fester. Paul understood how allowing this to go on can lead to disaster, which is why he said it was a shame for a woman to speak in the church. Letting women run the yard destroys the yard. Feminism is a result of giving women far too much grace for their own ideas. It's the result of women not having authority over their head. Men should be in authority over women just as Jesus has authority over the church. Men must rule justly and in love. Women in this gender reverse society do not rule justly or in love. Eve desired to have power at the expense of creation when she took the forbidden fruit. In the same way, feminists desire to have power at the expense of greater society. Feminism has never at any time been about equality, no matter what wave you want to talk about. It has always been about power, which started with Eve being the first feminist. Women were never meant to lead the society. This is what the men are for. With leadership comes authority. With authority comes power. And with power comes responsibility. The men are responsible for the health and well-being of the community, and they are charged with getting the women in line. We can't wait for the women to get right on their own. We must set standards and have consequences for noncompliance. We have to stop behaving like Adam, who allowed his woman to do what he knew full well was bad, even going along with it. Women will not course correct. We must do it, not by force, but by example, expectation, and standards. Your job doesn't force you to work, but if you don't work, you're fired. Your boss isn't going to argue with you about what's expected of you on the job. You either do it or you'll be terminated. The Most High God didn't argue with rebellious Israelites. He punished them, and some he killed. Obviously, I'm not advocating putting your hands on a woman. My point is, you deal with noncompliance swiftly and definitively. In the case of dealing with a female, you simply get rid of her. You don't hand a chainsaw to a toddler, and you don't give a woman to a foolish man. A chainsaw is not evil, and women aren't either, yet both are deadly in the wrong hands. I've said in the past that marriage is a wonderful thing, and it's great for society. People, not so much. Most people should not get married, not because marriage is bad, but because they are deficient. Marriage only works for the socially and financially affluent. Yet people have their urges, which is why Paul said go for it if you can't control yourself. Better to struggle in a marriage than to struggle with sin. They say guns don't kill people, people kill people. This analogy won't work if you insert women into it, but the point of the analogy is the operation of the tool depends on the user. Just as the gun was made to serve the purpose of man, The Most High made the woman for the purpose of man. Mishandling either can cost you your life. Women are not inherently good or bad. They're inherently wild. Any creature coming from the wild must be domesticated in order to be useful to society. What did I say about electricity? A stray live wire can kill someone. The electrical company will come and fix that live wire where it will be useful in giving power to a whole neighborhood. Not everyone can handle live wires and fix them, and not every man can deal with a woman in marriage. You need to earn a license to drive a car or pilot a commercial jet. Giving a woman to a foolish man can be just as destructive as a car or commercial jet in the wrong hands. Everyone wants to talk about what women are doing, but no one wants to talk about what men aren't doing. Again, leadership, authority, power, responsibility. Not to sound like a broken record, as I say this a lot, but the responsibility of a leader is to lead. This means you set the tone, the standard, and the consequences for the community. Not everyone is built for this. So, just as we're warned not to touch live wires, Paul told us not to touch a woman.